Okay, we're live.
Thank you. And good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Township of North Dumfries Public Planning Meeting. We have 2 committees of adjustment applications for this evening and 1 public meeting. Members of the public who have registered before the registration deadline for all items have been provided with a link and a telephone number to join the virtual meeting this evening and have indicated to staff which application they would like to participate in. Staff will move these individuals who have registered into the meeting to speak in the order of the application being heard. It is due to COVID-19 and recommendations by Waterloo Region Public Health to exercise social distancing and public gathering thresholds. Township public meetings are currently being held by teleconference. I apologize. Members of the public have been provided with the following methods to watch and participate in this open meeting electronically. First off, you can watch the live stream by accessing the meeting through the township website. You do not need a YouTube account to watch the live stream. You cannot directly participate in the meeting via the live stream, as this is for viewing only. Second, members of the public who are interested in attending as an observer or wish to speak to an item will submit the request in writing to the Clerk's Division before 7 p.m. on Monday, April 26th. A link and telephone number has been provided to those who registered before the registration deadline. And thirdly, members of the public who wanted to comment on a particular item but were not able to attend the meeting were virtually invited to submit written comments to the Clerk's Division, which would then be provided to the Mayor and Council prior to the meeting. Can I have approval of the agenda, please?
Moved by Councillor Gillespie, seconded by Councillor Rolleman, that Council adopt the April 27th, 2021 public meeting agenda as presented. Mayor Foxton?
Yes.
Councillor Rolleman?
Yes.
Councillor Osner?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you. Is there any disclosure of pecuniary interest and general nature thereof? Seeing none. Adoption of the minutes, please.
Moved by Councillor McCreary, seconded by Councillor Osner. The Council approved the public meeting minutes dated March 23rd, 2021. Mayor Foxton?
Yes.
Councillor Rolleman?
Yes.
Councillor Osner?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you. And now we need a motion to sit as Committee of the Adjustment.
Moved by Councillor Osner, seconded by Councillor McCreary, that the council meeting be adjourned at 7:03 p.m. to sit as Committee of Adjustment for the purposes of holding public meetings pursuant to the provisions of the Planning Act. Mayor Foxton?
Yes.
Councillor Rolleman?
Yes.
Councillor Osner?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
That carries.
And also the approval of the past Committee of Adjustment meeting.
Moved by Councillor Gillespie and seconded by Councillor Rolleman that Committee of Adjustment approve the minutes dated March 23rd, 2021. Mayor Foxton?
Yes.
Councillor Rolleman?
Yes.
Councillor Osner?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you. And now I see the people have already been let in, so we can carry on, correct? Cynthia, we're good?
Yes.
Thank you. So first off is report number PD 23-2021, minor variance and consent application statutory public meeting for 1410 Wrigley Road. So take it away. I believe, Sarah, you're taking this?
Thank you, Mayor Foxton.
I'm sorry, I just have to state that notice has been given in accordance with the Planning Act. The Secretary Treasurer will record everyone who has commented on this application, attended and or have registered with the Clerk's Division to attend the meeting this evening. And those individuals will be notified of the decision or the convening of future meetings. Now, Sarah, I apologize, carry on.
Thank you, Mayor Foxton. So I am presenting on my camera's doing a weird thing, sorry. 1410 Wrigley Road, consent application B0121 and minor variance application A0621 on behalf of the applicants and owners Andrew and Angela McDonald. So the purpose of the statutory public meeting is to provide an overview of the development proposal, to solicit comments from the interested members of the public, government agencies, and other stakeholders that can then be reflected in a future report to council on the merits of the two planning applications, and to committee, sorry. Identify issues or matters to be assessed by staff as part of the consideration of the subject proposal. And the outline of today's meeting is just a background on the property, planning policies and regulations that will be investigated, purpose of the proposed consent and minor variance, and an analysis and recommendations moving forward. So the property at 1410 Wrigley Road is located on the north side of Wrigley Road between Reedsville Road and Dumfries Road, which is partially within the Wrigley settlement area. So it's approximately 14 hectares in size, with a corresponding frontage of approximately 42.7 meters, which is actually split into two sections. So this red portion here is 1402 Wrigley Road, which was previously severed off of this property. And you can see there's a remaining eastern and western portion that still front onto Wrigley Road. So this western portion is 30 meters, and this eastern portion is about 12.7 meters. So there's an existing single detached dwelling right in the middle of the property, which will remain on the retained lot. The northern part of the property is forested. There's a bit of a wetland in this corner over here. And this southern portion is used for organic agriculture. And it is serviced by private well and septic services. So just a bit of a zoom in on that property there to give you a better idea. So this grayed out area is the settlement boundary. This hashed gray line is the boundary itself. So south of this boundary is within the settlement area, and north gray line is agriculture. Again, the red portion is a previously severed portion off of this property. This is its own property now. And this is the two frontages onto the road, onto Wrigley Road here. The existing driveway is on this western part, which will become the severed lot, and a new driveway will be proposed on this eastern frontage over here. So planning policies and regulations. These are some of the policies that we need to consider in terms of the provincial policy statement. So land use patterns within settlement areas shall be based on densities and a mix of land uses, which efficiently use land and resources. The appropriate development standards should be promoted, which facilitate intensification, redevelopment, and compact form, while avoiding or mitigating risk to public health and safety. In rural areas, rural settlement areas shall be the focus of growth and development, and their vitality and regeneration shall be promoted. Opportunities to support a diversified rural economy should be promoted by protecting agricultural and other resource-related and directing non-related development to areas where it will minimize constraint of these uses. And we need to consider the long-term economic prosperity, which should be supported by sustaining and enhancing the viability of the agricultural system through protecting agricultural resources, minimizing land use conflicts, providing opportunities to support local food, and maintaining and improving the agri-food network. Oh, in terms of the regional official plan, the subject property is located within the countryside and is designated as protected countryside and rural area, which is shown on map 7 excerpt here. The policies of this designation encourage protecting the ecological and groundwater recharge functions of the protected countryside and supporting, promoting, and protecting agriculture, but lot creation is permitted within rural settlement areas. In terms of the township official plan, so again, it's got two designations. So the subject property is partially within the Wrigley settlement area, which is designated as settlement, residential, and ancillary, and then partially within the countryside and designated as agriculture, as shown in these two maps here. So the proposed severed lot is situated fully within the Wrigley settlement area. It's within the boundary limits of the settlement, residential, and ancillary designation. The township will encourage the provision of new dwelling units in built-up areas and existing rural settlement areas through infill, conversion, intensification, or redevelopment compatible with surrounding uses. And the official plan states that settlement, residential, and ancillary designation is intended to provide for primarily low-density residential development within rural settlement areas. General Zoning Bylaw 68983. So again, the subject property has dual zoning. So the southern portion, which is within the settlement area, which includes the entire proposed severed parcel is classified as Zone 3, rural residential, and the remainder of the property, which is located outside of the settlement area boundary, is Zone 1 agriculture. Both Zone 1 and Zone 3 classifications permit a residential building and accessory uses in conformity with the provisions of the general zoning bylaw. So an overview of the proposed consent. Oh, excuse me. So the applicant has proposed a new flag-shaped lot, as you can see here outlined in orange. It has approximately a 30-meter frontage on Wrigley Road with a corresponding lot area of about 0.4 hectares or 1 acre. The retained lot, which is the green here, would also be a bit of a flag shape. So it's got a skinny part and then it widens at the back. The frontage is approximately 12.68 meters. With a lot area of 13.6 hectares. So this portion will require a variance to allow that frontage to be less than 30 meters. So the bylaw requires all properties have a frontage of 30 meters. The applicant has proposed 12.68. However, the property does widen to, I can't remember, but I believe it's over 200 meters at its width at the back where the house is located. So future development of the severed lot will be serviced with private well and septic services. The existing driveway, which currently is here and goes into that western frontage, the best part of it would be continued to be used with the severed lot, and then a new driveway would be proposed on this eastern portion. And there's a zoom in here, so you can see the measurements. This is the existing property that's already been severed, the 30-meter frontage, which then has, it widens at the back to almost 90 meters. And then this frontage of the retained lot is 12.68, but then opens up to over 200 meters here. Here's just some pictures of the frontages of the western and eastern portions. So this is the existing driveway. The remainder of the frontage is covered by very mature trees. So this would become part of the severed lot. And then this picture is the eastern frontage of Wrigley Road, which would become the frontage of the retained lot. So this red line is approximately the 12.68 meters of the retained lot. And this yellow arrow here is approximately where the new driveway is proposed. And there is a hydro pool in the middle. So this is a view from the property. It's in front of the house looking towards Wrigley Road. This tree line is approximately the eastern boundary of the lot, and this red area is approximately where the new driveway would be. So this portion of cropland on the east side of this hydro pool would be removed and replaced with a driveway, and the existing driveway would be removed and intended to be replanted. So in terms of public correspondence, at the time of this report, we received 2 letters of objection from neighboring properties. They are attached to the, the full letters are attached to the agenda, but in summary, the concerns that they have listed include an impact on their property values, ongoing construction noise, a new property overlooking their backyards, which would produce a loss of privacy and property enjoyment, that the request is not minor and not in character with the neighborhood, additional access onto a very busy and high-speed road, impact on the agricultural land, impact on groundwater quality, availability, and pressure, and a threat to wildlife in the area. So we circulated to all of the necessary agencies. Some of them are still reviewing. The comments we've received so far include from the Regional Municipality of Waterloo. So they have accepted a scoped hydrological study, which they are still currently reviewing. They will need to approve that report before giving a recommendation or supporting this application. They have also received an access permit for the regional road onto Wrigley Road, and they've given some specifications here that the road access needs to be between 4.6 and 7.6 meters at the property line, and there should be a minimum of 8 meters from the center line of the proposed access to the center line of the adjacent property at 1382 Wrigley Road. The existing access is to continue to be used for the severed lot, and any modifications will require an access permit, which is currently not proposed at this time. Regional staff will require the owner to enter an agreement with the Region of Waterloo and include the following clauses in any offers of purchase, sale, or lease, which is that purchasers and tenants are advised that sound levels due to increasing road traffic may occasionally interfere with some activities of the dwelling occupants, as the sound levels exceed sound levels limits within the municipality and the Ministry of Environment, Parks, and Conservation. Comments from Energy Plus state that they will require a legal survey showing the existing property, existing easements, existing dwelling, existing hydro poles, anchors, secondary hydro wire feed, and the existing dwelling, proposed severance, proposed dwellings, proposed driveway, proposed electric plant. The survey must include dimensions, and the applicant is cautioned that a minimum clearance between the proposed driveway entrance and existing poles, guy wires, and anchors is 1.5 meters. The applicant is responsible for 100% of the cost to service the new lot, and that Energy Plus will not approve a severance to a lot with no service. All easements must be approved and registered, and any new structures must meet current ESA and Energy Plus clearances. The Grand River Conservation Authority has no objection to the proposed consent and minor variance applications. They have reviewed the proposal. It's not located within the GRCA area, but it is within the regulation limit. No permit is required for any development. They will need a new access driveway, and they have already obtained a permit in that regard. And as it is within the floodplain, they have reviewed it, and the fee will be applicable to the applicant. The Public Works Department just noted that Wrigley Road is under the jurisdiction, I think is what was meant there, of the Region of Waterloo, and such entrance permits may be required from the region, which the applicant has already taken care of or is in the process of. And the Waterloo Catholic District School Board just noted that any development charges shall be collected prior to the issuance of a building permit. So options and analysis. So there's a number of things to consider in terms of this application. So some of the things that we'll be looking at are, of course, all comments and correspondence received during the consultation process, the effect of the proposed development on matters of provincial interest, such as promoting efficient development, the adequate provision of housing, safe and healthy communities, appropriate growth and development, protection of the protected countryside, and supporting agriculture, as well as whether the development conforms to the official plan and whether it conforms to the general intent of the zoning bylaw. It will consider the suitability of the land for the purposes which the lands are being severed, including the dimension and shapes of the proposed lot. If the subject proposal, in the opinion of staff, is desirable for the property and compatible with adjacent uses and properties. Conclusions and recommendations arising from the hydrogeological study, which is still under review, and whether or not it can accommodate a proposed single detached dwelling, and appropriate mechanisms to ensure responsive site development, such as architectural control, tree preservation, access, drainage, and servicing. So the recommendation at this time is that all comments and correspondence received from members of the public and government agencies through this consultation process be returned to staff for a future report to council on the disposition of this matter. Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you, Sarah. Now would the applicant like to speak?
Hello,
Andrew
Mayor.
and Angela. Pardon me?
Hello, Mayor. My name is Andy McDonald. I am the applicant. Yeah, it's fairly explanatory what Sarah did. She did a great job. So this meeting, she said, was very much informative, a lot of information. So I'm looking forward to hearing what more information and discussion we can have.
Okay, thank you. And next, as members of the public wanted to comment, Norm and Glenna Eby. Good evening.
Norman Eby. I just wanted to state.
Norm, can you turn it up a bit, your volume up, please?
Yep, how do you adjust the volume here, dear? How's that? Can you hear me a little better now, or?
Okay.
All right. Just wanted to voice our opposition. I'll speak to the minor variance, and Glenna will talk to the severance. The the bylaw states there's a minimum 18 meters. We understand that. That's the minimum allowed. And the proposal is for 12 meters, which is 2/3 of the minimum, which is not minor. It's a major thing. And we're just wondering if the bylaw was important enough to enact, then it should be deemed important enough to uphold. It almost seems like a resident is running the planning of the region. So, but on this piece of land, on that this variance property, there's going to be a driveway, and it's going to go through prime agricultural land. There's no real way around that. So we have a problem with that. And it's also going to come out onto Wrigley Road at an 80-kilometer area in a passing zone. No one out here drives 80 kilometers. So, I have a problem with that. It's going into a passing zone in a high-speed area. So, and we've heard rumors of the 1 acre lot adjacent to it is going to come forward to be severed off. And there might be a deal with a portion of this 12 meters being involved in that through a variance down the road. So I just don't want to end up here time and time again as we see piece by piece getting added. So I'll let Glenna speak to the other portion of the severance.
Well, I think mostly it is it's the L-shaped lot that we're really having a hard time wrapping our head around. This property that would go along the side and then along the back behind us. And we don't know what would be behind us. It's nice to say, oh, nothing will ever be built back there, but how do we know? I mean, if it's sold off, how do we know nothing's going to end up being behind us? And it's very distressing to us, actually. Sorry. It's very distressing for us. Because here we bought onto a busy road, and we know that Wrigley Road was a busy road, but at least we could sit in our backyard and have a little bit of solitude and peace looking out onto a field behind us. And so now to have that potentially taken away from us is pretty devastating at this point. So we bought and put a small house out here so that we could retire in, and now we feel like that's being taken away from us, and it is distressing to us. I think we're also we're wondering about the water, when the water was tested and when they drilled a well to do some testing. I mean, it says in there that that there's potential risk for certain, like the homes at 1402, 1395, 1389, and 1382 from the septic, and what's happening with that. I think you knew a little bit more about that.
Yeah, that's on page 12 and 15 of the report. So that concerns us, because if they're at risk, then we're closer. Are we at risk? I know they say it's the flow, but there are 4 homes, and do these people even know? Are they aware of the potential risk? That concerned me a bit, well, more than a bit, because they are facing the risk because they have low or shallow wells. So
but also our well, we don't have very good water pressure to begin with, so I'm really concerned about the water table. We have really poor water pressure and water quality, so that's definitely a concern for us as well. We wonder what'll happen to our property value. It's certainly not going to go up because of this, so we're definitely concerned about these things. So I don't know.
And I know we were told that they could put something in there that nothing would be built behind us, but again, our question is, what's to stop someone applying for a variance down the road?
So at one point there was talk of, oh, well, maybe someone will put sheds or an auto shop or something to work behind us. Maybe it wouldn't necessarily be a home, but we don't know. And I guess that's what truly concerns us, what could go back on there. And we know that you know, there's been talk in the past in previous years about, you know, developing and putting more things back there, that these were plans, and maybe they will never happen and maybe they would never get passed, but we just feel like maybe this is a bit of a slippery slope. We don't know. So that's some of our concerns for sure.
Thank you for hearing us out.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Next, we have Scott and Jennifer and Shannon. Are they here? There we go at the bottom. Hello. You're on mute. You're on mute. There you go.
Hi, yeah, sorry, we didn't have anything we really wanted to comment on necessarily. We just wanted to understand more in depth what was going on, and that's that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
Next is Stephen Lee. Steve Lee.
Hi. Can you hear me all right?
Yes.
My one big concern is the effect on the water table, knowing how there's a almost yearly small lake in the field beside me here. And one like that tells me that this aquifer could well be approaching ground level. And that's right where the driveway is proposed to go. And also knowing that Mr. McDonald tends to allow farming on his property and has regularly farmed trees out of his forest. I'm wondering about the ability of this road to handle this equipment without affecting the water table. I think it might be a little more major undertaking than just throwing a driveway in for a couple cars. And like I said already, I think there's probably been an effect on our water out here, but that's still waiting to hear, you know, more from the hydrogeology report and things like that. So that's basically it for me.
Okay, thank you. Next up, we have Lee and Dan Medeiros. There you are.
Hi, good evening. Thanks for hearing us. I guess we would definitely agree with everything that has been said so far as as Norman Glenna, exactly everything that they have said. Now, where we are located is right beside Norman Glenna, and in between that L shape and this proposed new lot. So we've lived here for 4 years, and we've had to go through this that red area of the lot with the new build that's been there, that has gone on for years, all the bang bang all the time, whether it's a new shed or something being built. And that new proposed lot, if you look back at the photo of the driveway, and there is a treed area, a couple of trees between us, that's actually not even our lot. So that would be this new person's lot. And in fact, we can't even back out of our driveway if that gets passed. So our major concerns are definitely the water, even the tree line being taken down in front of us. We use that as definitely a protection for wind, snow, dirt, noise. The road, I think Wrigley Road and the speed is a whole nother conversation that needs to be had. A few times now, my children have almost been hit by the bus there. So now we're having more traffic and more driveways entering out into that area, which is exactly what Norman Glenna were saying. Like we said, this lot going right beside us, we are absolutely against it, and even more against the fact of the shape of the lot. The L shape is unconventional. It touches 5 properties. This proposed lot touches us, Norman Glenna, Alan, Judy, Andy and Angela, and Manuel and his family. One lot touches 5.
We're just the irregularity of the shape of the lot. It's really going to affect our quality of life out here behind us. We came to the country, moved from the city to have this nice country property, and now it's going to be affected by this open space behind us. And, you know, they could put in the proposal, oh, nothing's going to get built here. And exactly what Norm said. And then somebody can go get a variance, and I can have a big shop behind my house, or whatever, and that's our country view now. And it's like, we could have moved to the suburbs, but we did, and we wanted to move and have this nice country lot in the country. And now our quality of life is going to have a huge impact on this. And my big concern too, I was just, why was the water tested on by Steve Lee's property? Like, and they should have been testing from the well over there too, because his well's probably going to get the most affected by everybody out here.
The most impacted, yeah.
Yeah. So,
Thank you.
thank you.
Okay, thank you. Councilors, any comments or questions? I see Councilor Roman.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I did go up to that property this afternoon to have a look. Many years ago, my children actually were in a daycare there 25 years ago. And at that time, there was only one house in there. And now it's been all piecemealed out into separate little lots. So it's kind of sad to see that happen. But I do have a question as to why they're proposing this L-shaped lot. We've seen other examples in the township where I can think of one example, 3249 Roseville Road, for example, where they put an L-shaped lot, and now the new owner has built a giant accessory shed right behind the existing house. So it has happened in the township, and I'd be concerned that would happen here. I can't see why the lot is being designed in that configuration, other than they're trying to meet hectare requirements. So I'm opposed to what I'm seeing so far, and I'm hoping that there's some sort of compromise that would not involve having this L-shaped lot. Thank you.
Councilor Osner and then Councilor McCreary.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I tend to agree with Councilor Rowland, and when I look at the way those lots are kind of crumpled together and the odd shape of it, it doesn't make a lot of sense to me. However, I do want to see when the staff report comes out, what the opinion of staff is. And I guess we have to decide from there. There seems to be a lot of local concern about the lot. So I think this is something we have to really take into consideration.
Thank you. Councilor McCreary.
Thank you, Mayor Foxton. I'm also concerned about the shape of the lot. And I'm just wondering about if that L shape wasn't there and the boundary line just went straight back until it stopped at the settlement area boundary where the zoning changes, that would be probably a feasible size for a lot. I'm wondering, so it's not really necessary, or is it necessary to have the L shape to get enough land in to meet some minimum size? I think that's something that maybe that our planner could address.
Sarah, please.
Through you, Madam Mayor. So yes, that is definitely the reason of the L shape. So while a rectangular lot would meet the minimum requirements of the size, the regional planner has, one of the regional planners has basically raised concerns that the size of the lot, if it was just that rectangle, wouldn't meet the minimum size for the hydrogeological concern. And that's why that hydrogeology study is still being reviewed. So that's why the L shape was proposed. They basically needed more land considered in the area to make the hydrogeology of the lot work. So that's all I know at this point. We're still waiting on that report for more details from the regional planner. But that is the reason of the L shape, is that they didn't believe that there would be enough space in just a rectangular lot to have enough. I don't know how to explain it, but basically the L shape was required for a greater size.
Would it be because of the septic?
That is what I'm thinking, that it's the impact of all of the septic systems in that area.
Councilor McCreary, any further questions?
Yes, I have another question about the building envelope on this lot. Do we ever create lots where there are restrictions on areas where there can be building? Like it looks as if there could be a large shop or maybe a coach house built on that flag shape at the back. Do we ever approve a lot severances where we put restrictions on the lot so that we say that nothing can be built at the back and just say, okay, the house can be at the front and nothing can be built behind the two properties to the west. Can we do that?
Staff want to answer? COA McNally?
Yes, Madam Mayor, through to Councilor McCreary. If the proposed consent were to be granted a provisional approval and work on the premise that we're looking at the L-shaped lot as presently configured, yes, council as a condition to approval can put restrictions on one or more portions of the property. And you could require a no build area on a portion of the lot. And that would then be placed on through zone provisions, preventing a future building permit on one or more portions of the property.
Okay, thank you.
Councilor Rollerman?
Thank you, Madam Mayor. I have a question that I guess is a similar topic as Councilor McCreary. I'm just wondering about the building line of this property. Are they going to be building this new house in line with the existing houses on either side, or will it be set further back and behind the existing houses? Looking at the L-shaped lot, I'm wondering, is that the intention to build a big sprawling house in behind the other houses or setback? Or is there some sort of restriction on the house following the existing building line? Maybe staff can answer that for me.
Madam Mayor, if I could, through to Councilor Rollerman.
Go ahead.
One of the key pieces that's under review is that hydrogeologic report. And that analysis may dictate where a well or septic system would best be positioned to protect the integrity of the adjacent properties. So until we actually have that study completed and the sign off from the region hydrology water resources section, we don't know because, as I said, if the septic system has to go in a specific spot, that could ultimately affect the positioning of the future house.
I see no more hands up. I was going to ask, number one, Sarah, can you put up just for a brief second? I'm looking at the driveway entrances, picture number 3 on your presentation, I believe it was.
Sure.
And show me the driveway entrances for the existing homeowners now. Page 3.
Page 3.
There we go. So if I look to my right, which would be the east side, yes, over by there. The homes along the side there, where do they go in and out of their property? Right beside that, right? Right on the boundary line. Okay, where the tree line is.
Yes.
And then the home on the far side, on the westerly side, what do they use to get out? They have a separate driveway there. Okay, thank you. I wanted to correct that.
Yeah, so
I think a lot of this hinges on the septic and where the septic is going to go. But thank you, CEO McNeely, for making the point that we can lay restrictions on what happens to that land, should we decide to do it. And I'm pretty sure that's why the lot was configured this way, is because a septic needs, is it 1 acre? You need
Yes.
1 acre for a septic? And so it needed the extra land to create the 1 acre.
So it's not always 1 acre for the septic. It can be smaller, but just considering like the specific situation out where the water table is in this area and how many houses are in the surrounding area, it needed a greater area than the provisions of the bylaw.
Right. Okay, thank you. Can you take your report down, please, so I can see if any hands are up? Okay. I see no more questions or comments. Can I have the motion, please?
Moved by Councillor Ossner, seconded by Councillor Gillespie, that report number PD 23-2021 be received, and that all comments and correspondence received through the consultation process be returned to staff for further consideration in a future report to the committee on the disposition of this matter. Mayor Foxton?
Yes.
Councillor Rollerman?
Yes.
Councillor Ossner?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
Sarah, there are some comments in the chat that you may want to look at and touch base on. And for the public's notice, this is saying that that council has the information. Nothing has been decided yet. and you will be made aware of the next meeting that we have on this. So I just wanted to make you aware. Thank you all for coming out tonight, and have a good evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're waiting for Steve Patterson to come on. And there he is. He's on the phone. Are we good to go, Cynthia?
Yep.
Thank you. Report number PD 24-2021, consent application, statutory public meeting for 2194 Dumfries Road. And in accordance with the Planning Act, notice was given. The Secretary Treasurer will record everyone who has commented on this application, attended and or have registered with the Clerk's Division to attend the meeting this evening. These individuals will be notified of the decision or the convening of future meetings. I'd like to introduce Shahid right now, the planner, to present the application, please.
Good evening, Madam Mayor, Council, Administration. Tonight I'm presenting the 4 consent applications B05/20 to B08/20. The purpose of the presentation is to provide an overview of the proposed development, solicit comment from interested member of public, government agencies, and the stakeholder that can be reflected in a future report to committee on the merit of the 4 consent applications, and identify issues or matter to be assessed by staff as part of the consideration of the subject proposal. Let me go through the property location, some background. So the subject property is located within a Highway 41, Regional Road 97 employment area. The property is municipally addressed as 2194 Dumfries Road, and the property is approximately 13.23 hectare, which is 32.70 acres in size. So as you can see on the map, the northwest boundary of the property is bounded by the CP Railway. The southern side of the property is licensed and bounded by the licensed sand and gravel extraction operation, and the property is located west side of the Dumfries Road. The property is accessed through Dumfries Road and serviced by private well and individual septic system. Currently, the subject property contains a landscape business, which you can see on the map, which is on the southern portion of the property, and an outdoor storage yard on the northerly portion. The south portion of the property is identified as an area of prohibition, which you can see on the map, which highlighted with the pink irregular shaped block, which is identified by the Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Park. So the restriction to the area of prohibition include no building to be constructed, no lowering of grade, and no installation of extraction domestic well as well. So staff reviewed the provincial policies, regional policies, and the township regional official plan and zoning bylaw as well. So if you see the provincial policy statement, that the provincial policy, the proposed development aligned with the provincial policy statement. As you can see, the plan policy 1.3.1 state the planning authority shall promote economic development by providing opportunities for diversified economic base, monitoring the availability and suitability of the employment site, including market-ready site. And it's also encouraged the industrial or manufacturing uses within the employment area as well. So when we see the growth plan for the greater Golden Horseshoe, that's also support the proposed development, as it states that making more efficient use of existing employment area and vacant and underutilized employment land and increasing employment densities, which also state that ensuring the availability of sufficient land for variety of employment to accommodate forecasted employment growth to the horizon of this plan, which is 2030. 2031. So regional official plan designate the subject property as a built-up area. And if you see the build-up area, that within the build-up area, lands are intended to be provide additional opportunities for employment growth and business development within the township of North Dumfries. Staff also reviewed the township official plan, and map 2.27 designate the subject property as within a dry industrial commercial. And the dry industrial commercial designation provide for a range of light industrial uses and related activities similar to the uses in the general industrial designation, which is zone 11. The township official plan also states that township anticipate additional employment of 1,870 to meet the official plan target, an employment forecast of 8,700 by 2031. The zoning bylaw, the subject property is currently zoned as zone 9, which is in industrial, with the exception 20.1.113. So 20 is exception 20.1.113 may allow permit that the subject property may be used for the gravel pit in addition to those uses permitted in the zone 9 industrial. Zone 9 industrial also permit the light to medium industrial uses such as processing, manufacturing, industrial, and warehousing as well. The zone 9 also established a minimum lot size of 2,000 square meter with a minimum 30-meter lot width. Let me go through the proposed consent proposal. The applicant proposes 2 severed lots, which we can see on the proposed severance sketch. The applicant proposing 2 severed lots, which is identified as a block 1, block 2, and also a retained lot, and an easement and servicing easement block for stormwater management and utilities. As you can see on the map, the block 1 is approximately 7.26 hectare in size, which include access corridor through Dumfries Road, which form the proposed lot property frontage 30 meter wide, which you can see on the proposed severance sketch. The block 2 is approximately 3.12 hectare in size with corresponding lot frontage of 151 meter on Dumfries Road. The retained lot is approximately 2.83 hectare in size with corresponding lot frontage of 103.37 meters, incorporating the existing landscape supplies, facilities, and outdoor storage. As I mentioned, the applicant also proposing the easement access. The easement access is 30 meter wide, as you can see the sketch. The easement access easement is proposed to ensure that all 3 lots, including 2 severed lot and retained lot, utilize one access to Dumfries Road through mutual access agreement. The access agreement is to be in favor of the future owners of the retained lot and the block 2. The applicant also proposing servicing easement, as you can see on the severance sketch. The servicing easement is proposed to facilitate the central stormwater management and utilities that will be benefit all 3 parcels, parcel 1, 2, and retained lot. The centralized stormwater management, as you can see the map, the central stormwater management facility is proposed to ensure that each parcel can maintain a legal outlet for stormwater to proposed facilities. The servicing easement is in favor of the future owner of the retained lot and block 2. Staff also mail out the public meeting notices to the adjacent property owners, and also circulate the submission material to the government agencies and department for review and comments. So at this moment, the staff didn't receive any interest or any concern or any comments from the member of public. The regional municipality of Waterloo, they also they expressed no concern, but they also provided some comments, and they mentioned that they have no concern, but subject to some conditions. The conditions include the owner applicant complete the required road widening dedication, access permit, and share mutual access agreement, functional servicing report, and stormwater management report to the satisfaction of the region. The other condition is also provide a functional design for proposed northbound left turn lane and southbound right turn lane on Dumfries Road to the satisfaction to the region of Waterloo. And the other condition also include the owner of or the applicant shall enter into an agreement with the region to provide the functional design, approved cost, estimate, and letter of credit of the proposed northbound left turn lane and southbound right turn lane on the Dumfries Road to the satisfaction of the region of Waterloo. Energy Plus also provide the comment. They express no concern, but they provide some standard comments that the applicant or the owner have to provide the legal survey showing the existing property, existing easement, existing dwelling, the proposed evidence, proposed dwelling. The applicant will be responsible for 100% of the cost to service the new lot and relocate and upgrade services. The applicant or owner will need to install a new transformer for the two severed lot, which is block 1 and block 2, at 100% cost to the customer. Energy Plus will need to include in servicing easement to provide services to the block 1. Grand River Conservation Authority expressed no objection. The Public Works Department of the Township of North Dumfries has provided some comments, which is focusing principally on stormwater management facility and stormwater report, servicing easement. So the comments and assessment will be included in the next report to committee. Canadian Pacific Railway, they also provided some comments. They expressed no concern, no objection to the proposed development, but they mentioned that the proposed development appears that the proposed stormwater management facility is located directly adjacent to the CP railway tracks and right of way. CP Rail will accept no additional drainage on the property and right of way, as this has the potential to destabilize the track and may result in derailment in future. CP Rail will hold the adjacent landowner responsible should any future issues arise from the location of the stormwater management facility, or should any damage occur from the potential additional drainage onto our property and right of way. So what I found, I mean, there's agreement between the property owner or the CP Rail, but staff is looking some clarification for the CP Rail as well. So that will be including in the future report to the committee. So staff, in consideration of the future report on the merit of the consent application, will considering matter including all comments and correspondence received during the consultation process, the effect of the proposed development on matter provincial interests, such as promoting opportunities for economic development, promoting diversification of economic base and employment opportunities, whether the development conform to the township official plan and zoning bylaw, whether the proposed development is compatible with the adjacent land uses, the properties, and the maintain the character of the area. And staff will also consider what site-specific provisions are required to address the future intended use of the subject land, the traffic circulation and point of ingress and egress to the development on the North Dumfries Road. Staff will also consider the appropriate mechanism to address site requirements such as drainage, grading, stormwater management, servicing, protection of natural features, or any hazardous land, tree preservation, and compatibility as well. So the proposed site-specific standard to recognize the common road frontage element stormwater management will be also considered for the future report, or if there any issue, then to address that issue as well. So the staff recommending that all comments and correspondence received from the member of the public and government agencies through the consultation process be returned to staff for future report to committee on disposition of this matter. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Shahid. And now, Mr. Patterson, would you like to say anything? Say a few words?
Good evening, Mayor Foxton. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Yes, my name's Scott Patterson, and I'm the planning consultant retained by the landowner. And also on the line tonight, I believe, is Mr. Elliot Bender, and he's with the landowner group. We don't have anything further to add. I'd like to thank staff for their presentation and their very detailed report, which outlined the proposal, the creation of the 3 lots, and the proposal to have a shared access and a shared stormwater management facility, and road improvements and things like that that are going to be all part and parcel of this should it be approved. Mr. Bender and I are simply here to answer any questions that you may have tonight, and looking forward to advancing this project forward.
Thank you. I see no members of the public are registered. Councilors, any comments or questions? Oh, very impressive. I have one. Shahid, in your report, did you say that the owners of the property have to put a left and right turn lanes? Or is
Yes.
the region doing it? The owners are doing it?
No, the applicant, but the region there should be agreement between region and applicant. They have to put left lane, left and a right lanes as well.
Yeah.
So there should be agreement between applicant and.
So the region's going to do it and charge back the business. Is that correct,
Yes.
Naomi?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay. All right. And I see no other questions. So can I have the motion, please?
Moved by Councillor McCreary, seconded by Councillor Rowland, that report number PD 24-2021 be received, and that all comments and correspondence received through the consultation process be returned to staff for further consideration in a future report to council on the disposition of this matter. Mayor Foxton?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland?
Yes.
Councillor Ossner?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you. So we're going to pause and thank you for coming tonight, Scott and Elliot. I hope things work out for you. Just one comment to staff. At the region, we disable the chat because anybody can say anything, and this is recorded. And therefore, we've had some contentious issues at the region, and some of the comments have been contentious. So they do not allow the public to do the chat. If the public wants to reach out to staff, they reach out by email. So during public meetings, the chat is disabled. Actually, for all regional meetings, the chat's disabled. So Ashley, if you could look into how disabled chat. Tonight, the questions there were not offensive in any way, but it can really get a whole out of control if somebody wants to sabotage the meeting. So we're looking to disabling that. And now we are going to go to the adjournment, please.
Moved by Councillor Rowland, seconded by Councillor Gillespie, that pursuant to the Planning Act, the public meetings of the Committee of Adjustment be adjourned at 7:57 p.m. and the council meeting be called back to order. Mayor Foxton?
Yes.
Councillor Rowland?
Yes.
Councillor Ossner?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you. And that all comments and so the next one is 6.1 comments
correct.
and okay, go ahead with that motion, please.
Oh, Shahid, so this is also a statutory public meeting as well?
I see it there. Okay,
Yes.
thank you.
Yeah.
So this is report number 22-2021. In accordance with the Planning Act, notice was given. The clerk will record everyone who has commented on this application, attended and or have registered with the clerk's division to attend the meeting this evening. These individuals will be notified of the decision or the convening of future meetings. And now I'd like to introduce Shahid. Oh, this is the zoning one. Yes, thank you.
So, thank you, Madam Mayor. Tonight I'm presenting the zoning bylaw amendment application ZC 1/21. So the subject property is located within the Highway 4190, Regional Road 97 employment area. The property is municipally addressed 2194 Dumfries Road, and the property is approximately 13.23 hectare in size. So this zone change application is concurrently submitted with the severance application which I presented before. So the property is accessed through the Dumfries Road service and serviced by the private well and individual septic system. Currently, the subject property contains a landscape business on the southern portion of the property and outdoor storage yard on the northerly portion. So as you can see the map, the southern portion of the property is identified by a Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Park. The restrictions to the area of prohibition include no building to be constructed, no loading of grade, and no installation of extraction or domestic wells. The staff also reviewed the provincial statutory document, provincial policy statement, and the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe. The provincial policy statement and the growth plan for the Greater Golden Horseshoe also encourage the economic development by providing opportunity for diversified economic base, monitoring the availability and suitability of employment site, including market-ready sites. The growth plan states that making more efficient use of existing employment area and vacant and underutilized employment land and increasing the employment density. The growth plan also states ensuring the availability of sufficient land for a variety of employment to accommodate forecasted employment growth to horizon of this plan. So the staff also reviewed the regional and township statutory plan. The both plans also encourage the economic development and the future growth in employment area to encourage the industrial development. As you can see, the township official plan that's identify the subject property area as a dry industrial commercial. The dry industrial commercial designation provide for a range of light industrial use and related activities similar to the use in the general industrial designation, which is zone 11. As you can see on a slide that the township official plan also anticipate the additional employment of 1,870 to meet the official plan target unemployment forecast of 8,700 by 2031. So both provincial, regional official plan, they encourage industrial development in that Highway 401 and 97 employment area. The subject property zoned as zone 9 with exception 20.113. The exception 20.113 also permit the gravel pit. The zone 9 permit light to medium industrial uses such as processing, manufacturing, industrial warehousing. Zone 9 establish a minimum lot size of 2,000 square meter with a minimum 30-meter lot width. So let me go through the zoning proposal. The purpose of the zoning bylaw amendment is to remove the gravel pit used on the subject property, recognize the private driveway on, as you can see on the zoning bylaw map, the concept, the zoning bylaw map sketch. So the second thing is recognize that the private driveway can be serve as a frontage of the proposed retained lot and block 2, as you can see on the map. And also recognize the area of prohibition as identified by ministry. So if you see the severance zoning bylaw sketch, the proposed severance concurrently, the proposed severance was concurrently with the submitted with the zoning change application, as I mentioned before. In order to align the proposed land use activity, the zoning bylaw amendment is required to recognize and gravel pit use conflict with the proposed severance lot pattern. The zoning bylaw amendment is required to remove the gravel pit as a permitted land use activities. An exception is proposed to be affixed to the zone 9 classification to acknowledge for the purpose of 3 proposed industrial development lots. Frontage at 30-meter minimum shall be recognized as a proposed right of way driveway access. So as you can see in the map that the 30-meter right-of-way or access easement will serve, all these 3 lot, 2 including 2 7 lot and 1 retained lot. And as you can see in the map, the stormwater management facility is proposed to be zoned as Zone 12 open space, which is, I think the zone, the stormwater management facility is approximately 1.2 hectare. And the zoning bylaw also proposed a holding symbol is to be affixed to the zone line classification, recognizing the existing area of prohibition, identify Ministry of Environment, Conservation and Park. The restrictions to the area of prohibition, as I mentioned before, which include no building to be constructed, no lowering grade, and no installation of extraction and domestic wells. Staff also circulated the notice of public meeting to adjacent property owner within 120-meter radius of the subject property, and also circulated the submission package to agencies and department. So staff didn't receive any comments, concern from any member of public or adjacent property owner. Region of Municipality of Waterloo expressed no objection. Grand River Conservation Authority expressed no comments and concern. There's no objection. Energy Plus, they provided the standard comments that they will require the legal survey showing the existing property, existing easement, hydro pole, existing dwelling, proposed severance, proposed driveway. And they also mentioned the applicant will be responsible for 100% of the cost to service the new lot and relocate and upgrade services. Public Works Department of the Township of North Dumfries, they provided some comments, which is focusing on principally on stormwater management facilities and stormwater management report, servicing easement, and the comments and assessment will be included in the next report to the council. So the Canadian Pacific Railway also provided some comments, and they expressed that generally they don't have any objection, but it appears that the proposed stormwater management facility is located directly adjacent to the CPR railway track. The CP railway track will accept no additional, CP rail will accept no additional drainage onto the property and right of way, as this has the potential to destabilize the track and may result in derailment in the future. CP rail will hold the adjacent landowner responsible should any future issues arise from location of the stormwater management facilities, or should any damage occur from the potential additional damage to the property and right of way. So staff, in consideration of the future report on the merit of the zoning change application, will be considered matter including all comments correspondence received during the consultation process, the effect of the proposed development on matter of provincial interest, such as promoting economic opportunities, promoting diversification of the economic base and employment opportunities, whether the development conform to the official plan and zoning bylaw, whether the proposed development is compatible uses, compatible with the adjacent uses, properties, maintain the character of the area, what will be the site-specific provisions and required to address the future intended use of the subject land, the traffic circulation and the point of ingress and egress to the development on the North Dumfries Road. Staff will also consider the appropriate mechanism to address site requirements such as drainage, grading, servicing, stormwater management, protection of natural features and hazards, tree preservation and compatibility. And the staff also considered the proposed site-specific standard to recognize the common road frontage elements and stormwater management facilities. So staff recommends that the comments and correspondence received from the member of the public and government agencies through the consultation process be returned to staff for a future report to council on the disposition of this matter. Thanks, Madam Mayor.
Thank you, Shahid. I see Scott and Elliot. We have you both back again, do we? I know I see Scott
Yes.
there on the phone. Don't see Elliot though. All right. And did you want to make any comments, or again, you're just here to answer questions if we have any?
Exactly, Mayor Foxton. If there's any questions or concerns, I'd be happy to answer them. It's a straightforward zone change, in my opinion, to implement the consents which were previously presented to you. But again, if any questions or concerns, I'm here.
Thank you. Councilors, any questions or comments? I see Councilor McCreary has her hand up. And then Councilor Wellman.
I'm just curious about the exception that we're removing about the property being used as a gravel pit. Was it ever actually used as a gravel pit, or was any part of it ever actually used as a gravel pit? And I'm wondering if the block 1 at the back, which is really the new lot that's being added, is it something that has to be rehabilitated or filled in?
So
Shahid, go ahead.
Yeah. So through Madam Mayor, Councilor McCreary, basically the zone of the subject property is zone 9 industrial. So that exception 20.1.113 allow gravel pit on the northern portion of the property. For that, remove the gravel pit from the basically in 2000, an underground gasoline tank removal operation was conducted by the previous owner, and based on the result of that, ministry they imposed a restriction, and they said they required the certificate of prohibition to be registered on the title of land. So, but the property owner, they requested to ministry that the contaminated land should be limited to the portion, and then the ministry considered the request from the applicant, and they limited the portion of area of prohibition to the property, which is the southern portion of the property.
So Shahid, what you're saying is it never was an aggregate industry. It had the potential under the zoning to be aggregate, but it never did. And are you saying that when it was looked into, it was discovered about the contaminated lands? CEO McNeely, please clarify.
Madam Mayor, the area of prohibition is the location under a past owner of the property where the buried fuel tanks had leaked and there was spread of hydrocarbons outside of the footprint of the tank. There was some remedial work undertaken. It has not been successfully removed all the hydrocarbon contaminated soil at that location. Hence, the ministry, under the record of site condition, has identified that area as a no build, no site disturbance. The holding symbol has been put in place to identify that. There is an actual reference plan that forms part of the record of site condition that gives us the exact measurements. And so in the fullness of time, if someone came forward and put a structure or proposed to alter the site within the boundary of the area of prohibition, they would not be eligible because of the provision of the holding symbol.
I think we understand that, but I think Councilor McCreary's question was about the aggregate.
And there's been very little site disturbance other than what you've witnessed as part of the current outside storage as well as the landscape facility. This used to be part of the Rife homestead.
Does that answer your Councilor McCreary?
Yes, it was. We're saying it never was actually a gravel pit. It could have been, but it never was. So we just need to remove that because it's never going to be one. Okay. That's what I just wondered if there was some big hole at the back that we had to fill in, but no. Okay. Thank you.
So we're all good? All right. So can I have the motion, please?
Moved by Councillor Gillespie, seconded by Councillor Rollman, that report number PD 22-2021 be received, and that all comments and correspondence received through the consultation process be returned to staff for further consideration in a future report to council on the disposition of this matter. Mayor Foxton?
Yes.
Councillor Rollman?
Yes.
Councillor Osner?
Yes.
Councillor McCreary?
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie?
Yes.
That carries.
Thank you. And And once again, thank you, Scott, for coming in tonight. And now can we have the confirmatory bylaw?
Moved by Councillor Gillespie, seconded by Councillor Rollman, that bylaw number 3229-21, being a bylaw to confirm the proceedings of council on April 27th, 2021, be read a first, second, third time, and be finally passed, signed, and sealed by the mayor and clerk. Mayor Foxton,
Yes.
Councillor Rollman,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries.
Thank you. And just an FYI, tomorrow we will be recognizing the day of mourning for people that have lost their jobs in the workplace. Counselors and so wrong, C.O. McGilly? Correct me, please.
Sorry, they've lost their lives.
That's
due
what
to
I
work-
meant.
Due to
I meant the
workplace.
life. I apologize. That's exactly what I meant. So you'll see different things sent out on Facebook and Twitter, and if you could share and repost for that, I appreciate it. Thank you. And now the adjournment, please.
Moved by Councillor McCreary, seconded by Councillor Ossner, that whereas business before this public council meeting has been completed at 8:15 p.m. and be it resolved, this meeting adjourns and meets again on Monday, May 10th at 6 p.m. for Committee of the Whole. Mayor Foxton,
Yes.
Councillor Rollman,
Yes.
Councillor Ossner,
Yes.
Councillor McCreary,
Yes.
Councillor Gillespie,
Yes.
that carries and we are adjourned.
You and have a good night, everyone.